Hey buddy, this is Collin, Mr. Oldschool Gamer, bringing you another clip from the wonderful world of Warships. Today it's another of those First Blood Kraken Unleashed games with my Yamamoto captain in the Akizuki. And this game was from last night on Sunday evening, because I was watching some YouTube videos and I came across Flamu's latest video regarding the new Tier 9 Japanese gunboat destroyer, the Kitakaze. And the reason that the Kitakaze, the Haragumo and the Akizuki is such a hot topic right now is of course that Wargaming just released the information that the two new destroyers will be launched in the next update. So every Akizuki player in the game right now is looking at their Akizuki, how much experience they have on the Akizuki, because most players will pretty much be able to unlock and research the Kitakaze the second it will be released. And of course, then it's not such a huge grind until the tier 10. So I of course have so much experience on my Akizuki that I will be able to research the Kitakaze the second it comes out. And of course I will be playing that ship a lot, since all CCs pretty much consider the Kitakaze a buffed Akizuki. Yeah, you heard me right. Wargaming thought it was a great idea to implement a buffed Akizuki into this game. If you wonder if I have a epileptic seizure right now, it's not. I was just trying to try out that spam the M button function if you want to look behind islands. So, this ship is of course one of my absolute favorite ships in the game. And since the new tier 9, the Kitakaze will be a buffed version of this, and they recently nerfed this one, the Akizuki, it's pretty much a no-brainer for me to move my 19-point Yamamoto captain up to the Kitakaze instead. Because if I can manage to get so many games with First Blood and Kraken Unleashed in this ship, I mean, just think about the games I will have in the Kitakaze then. That is more overpowered than this ship. And in the end of this video I will showcase my build for this ship and also my captain skills that I use on my Yamamoto captain to get all these great games. So stay tuned for the end, where I will pretty much go over everything on this ship, the upgrades, modules, the flags and the captain skills. And as you can see, the first kill wasn't really that hard to achieve, earning me one extra consumable of each, and of course some nice fireworks. Now at the 11-minute mark in this game I will encounter a recent new bug in the game that some players have experienced, where you pretty much get locked out in the free look mode. And of course it happens the worst kind of timing, and it will take a bit of time, almost a minute, for me to get the game to work again, pretty much. But if you're wondering why I'm not doing anything for a minute, it's because of my guns have pretty much freezed up, so I can't do anything. So I was pretty much spamming the entire keyboard and mouse to get it to unfreeze. So the tier 61 that thought it was a good idea to rush my Akizuki was also dealt with pretty fast, earning me my second kill of the game. And now also we had enemy Fubuki, I think, that was rushing with his Hipper and Tier 61 buddy. But he soon smoked up, and if he has any experience in this game, he should be pretty much hightailing it out of here right now, because facing a Akizuki and a Atago isn't really a great choice for a Fubuki. Now here is where the bad maneuverability comes into play. Even though I did spot those torps pretty early, this ship is so slow and has such bad maneuverability that I ate one of those torps anyways. And that is of course the big drawback to this ship. It is like sailing around in a brick or a battleship pretty much. And it takes a whole lot of punishment if you get focused by enemy ships. So here I'm just trying to kill off this Fubuki, who I already have done a great deal of damage to, but my Atago buddy on this flank gets the kill. And instead I start to focusing down this Grafspee. I did see that I became unspotted because of the island, and since I have these great arcs on these guns, almost like US destroyer arcs, I thought that I might be able to reverse out from behind this island a bit and still stay concealed and maybe get some shells on targets. Now I did get one or two fires on him that he repaired, so if I can get another fire, it will be a perma-fire. But I don't really seem to have any luck with my aim or my RNG. But still, we took pretty much half his health away, which is pretty good. Now this enemy French battleship Lyon, which is also a powerful ship with I think it's 16 guns, and you should be really careful gunfighting this battleship in a destroyer. Now unfortunately he got undetected and we have some incoming torps from the Grafspee. So if someone had spotted that Lyon, I could probably have burned away half his HP, since my shells don't have any trouble landing over that small island over there. And as you can see, we are a few ships on this flank, but the majority of our team is on the eastern flank. But it's still pretty good. We are 2 destroyers out of 3, and we also have a Atago, which is a pretty decent cruiser at this tier, with both HE spamming, torpedoes, and a heal, of course. So I'm trying to land some fires on this Lyon, and I see this enemy carrier pushing in, which I can't really understand, since he already lost 3 ships on this side. I don't really understand why he thought it was a good idea to try and hide on this flank. And here, of course, is where my guns jam. I get like a free look bug, so I can't really target any ships. It will soon start. So I can't really target any ships, and I can't really get this unlocked, because if I had, I could probably have burned or melted down this carrier in a couple of seconds. But as you can see here, I can't really aim. My guns have been pretty much locked on bearing, even though I haven't used that key function. And I can't even target them with the torps. And of course my smoke is on cooldown, so I can't really smoke up until this bug has been resolved. So I'm just trying here to, but I can't really lock on with my torps, or at least fire my torps at the prediction lines. So I'm just spamming the mouse and the keyboard trying to get this unlock to happen, and making me able to zoom in and aim towards the targets again. So I'm just trying to zoom in and out, and there finally I'm able to zoom in and aim at the targets again. I read about this in the forum, so apparently it's more than me that have experienced this bug after the latest patch. And I don't really know if there's a fix coming or how you should be able to get this bug to stop, pretty much. So I launch a couple of torps towards this Leon, since it looks like he is accelerating, and I start to burning down with my guns. And since this ship is this powerful, as I showcased in many videos in this playlist, I know that I will love the new tier 9 Kitakaze, and probably also the tier 10 Haragumo. And I'm really looking forward to next update, when those two ships will be implemented into the game. So I'm still at 2 kills and almost 90k damage, and it's pretty much the end game coming up. And we have a couple of enemy ships that have huddled in the enemy base. So it's time to push in and do what Akizuki does. So please leave comments below to this video if you usually play the Akizuki today, and what you think about the new upcoming ships, because I'm really interested in hearing you guys' opinion on what you think about the new buffed Akizuki at tier 9, and also the Haragumo, which seems to be pretty much a mini Wooster with smokescreen. So it's gonna be really fun and really interesting to try both these ships out. I managed to get my Confederates. This enemy battleship went out of range for me, so it's time to try and push in and deal with the last couple of ships. I can't really say that I have been affected that much by the nerfs they did to the Akizuki in the recent updates. I don't really think it's really weak or anything. I mean, it has very slow speed and bad maneuverability, but I still think that since you have these arcs on these guns, you are able to both use land masses and also smokes to get enormous, huge damage numbers on the enemy team. So, as I said many times before, I can't really wait until the day I am able to try out that tier 9 Kitakaze. I guess that Wargaming will need to nerf the 2 new ships pretty soon after their release, because I think they will see a whole lot of players, since they are pretty much or pretty many players that excel in Akizuki. They will also excel in the new tier 9 and tier 10 ships as well. Here I push in and smoke up, and I'm getting rushed by 3 enemy ships, 2 battleships and 1 cruiser. So I got a fire on the first battleship, I started to engage the cruiser, he got unspotted, so I switched to the battleship again, launched some preemptive torps, and start to focus the cruiser again, since he's the biggest threat pretty much. My torps land on the battleship, giving me my 3rd kill, and soon after that I kill off the cruiser, giving me my 4th kill and a double strike. And now it's only 1 ship left. And here's my Kraken unleashed. Unfortunately, I wasn't really able to capitalize on that last Yamamoto captain skill that gave you that insane HP heal and the insane reload of the guns. But if you want to watch that in game, you can watch any of my other Akizuki Yamamoto Kraken videos, where you will see that insane 1.6 second reload. So, still a pretty good game. We got Confederate, Double Strike, Kraken Unleashed and First Blood. Over 150,000 damage done. And as you can see, 16 fires. As I said, this ship is a really potent fire starter. And that's why I go with the Demo Expert and the fire flags. And I even managed a citadel on that enemy carrier. I got 2.2 thousand base XP, which is always nice, of course. And damage wise, you can see 85,000 due to main battery, another 58,000 in fires. So the damage adds up pretty well. I also tanked 750,000 potential damage for the team, which is always good in a destroyer. And of course some nice credits and experience. And as you can see, I don't really bother with the cheaper consumables on this ship, because it's still a good earner. And now I will showcase my build for the ship and also my captain skills. So, looking at the consumables, upgrades, flags and captain skills on my Akizuki. So, starting out with the consumables, I run the premium version on everything, because I have a whole lot of credits because I own the Missouri and a whole lot of other premiums. So I pretty much run the premium consumables on every ship I play. But I know this isn't the reality for every player, so if you have a shortage of funds, I would say go with the Damage Control Party 2 and Smoke Generator 2. Those are your bread and butter in this ship. Engine Boost, of course, is a great addition, since this is one of the slowest destroyers, if not the slowest destroyer in the game. So of course this will benefit you as well, but if you don't have the cash, you don't have the cash. Also, of course, Torpedo Reload Booster. I would say torpedoes are not the main armament on this ship, your guns are, so that is the most important. But that said, you still have this Torpedo Reload Booster. Your torpedoes are not really that great. They do pack a punch if they hit something, but they are slow, they are short-ranged, and they have bad concealment. So don't count on too many hit points and damage from your torpedoes. But of course, if you have the money, this is a no-brainer as well to pick up this Torpedo Reload Booster 2. Upgrade-wise, I go with Main Armament 1 because I don't think these are viable options, and you need your guns, you need your torpedo tubes, so this is pretty much a no-brainer. Propulsion, because it's the most important thing on a destroyer. If you're sitting duck with a dead engine, you are pretty much dead. So these two other options are not really viable, I think, in a destroyer. Slot number 3, I go with AA gun modification, because I don't want a bigger reload on my guns, and I definitely don't need a faster traverse. I already have such great accuracy, so I don't really think this is a viable thing as well. And the AA on the Akizuki and on this entire line are at least semi-decent. So if you slot this, you can be at least a bit of a nuisance to enemy carriers that are trying to drop your battleship buddies. So the 4th slot is actually a bit interesting, because on pretty much 98% of my destroyers I will go with propulsion modification 2, because you do need that fast acceleration, especially if you sit in smoke screens a lot, smoke firing battleships and everything, and those enemy destroyers torpedoes come calling. You need to accelerate really fast. So this is, of course, also a very viable option for the Akizuki, since Akizuki is really slow, has really slow acceleration and bad maneuverability. This is, of course, a very good option as well. But I have tried out some different builds and different upgrades on this ship, and I feel like steering gear modification 2 is the best one for Akizuki, for my playstyle, because you do want to gunboat a whole lot in this destroyer out in the open, because you can't just sit in your smoke screens. You need to deal out damage in between the cooldowns of the smoke screens. And then, of course, 20% nerf to the buff to the rudder shift time is extremely good, because as I said, this is a slow, bad maneuverable destroyer. But both these options are very good. And of course, number 5 is a no-brainer as well. Concealment system, you run this on every destroyer in the game except for Khabarovsk, which not really a destroyer. Then you go with steering gears. But every other destroyer, concealment systems. I actually seen a destroyer in game, a high tier destroyer that was running this, and I wouldn't recommend it, because you will be the laughing stock of the community if you run that one. So flag wise, now I don't have that many flags on this ship, and you don't really need that many flags on this ship. It depends a whole lot on what you are grinding right now and such. But I would say at least Sierra Mike for 5% more speed, which you need in this slow destroyer. And also the 2 fire flags, India X-Ray and Victor Lima, to buff that fire chance on your guns, because this ship is a really potent fire starter. So these 3 flags are basic for this destroyer. The rest is pretty much just the gravy. If you want some extra flooding, maybe you're grinding some experience or some commander XP or something. But these 3 is a sure thing, pretty much. So, going over the captain skills. Now, as you can see, I run my 19-point Yamamoto captain on this ship, and if you see my playlist with all my Akizuki First Blood Kraken Unleashed games, you know why I run this captain on this ship, because there is no ship in the game today that you will get so many First Blood and so many Krakens with other than Akizuki. But since the tier 9 and tier 10 soon will get launched into the game, I will move my Yamamoto captain up to the Kitakaze, because if you listen to the CCs, they have pretty much tested those ships and gone out with the information that the Kitakaze is pretty much a buffed Akizuki. How Wargaming thought it was a great idea to implement a buffed Akizuki into the game, I don't know, but since they nerfed Akizuki in the last patch, I will of course want to try the Yamamoto captain on the new Kitakaze, that is the buffed version of this really overpowered ship. But now I'm digressing. Let's talk about captain skills. First off, I have pretty much the basic build, which is preventive maintenance, because you need your guns and torpedo tubes. This is pretty much bullshit on all destroyers, because every time you are spotted in a destroyer, you should know that half the enemy team and their grandmothers are shooting at you, so you don't really need a skill to tell you that. So you go with preventative maintenance. Second skill, of course, last stand. You don't choose anything else in a destroyer. Last stand. It's really no discussion. On the third level, I usually actually go with Superintendent for that extra consumable. But since this is a destroyer, a gunboat with extreme alpha potential, I go with Demolition Expert instead, because these guns are just insane, as you saw in the game, of course. But of course Superintendent is also viable, but I would never choose it over Demo Expert on this ship. And of course Concealment Expert, no brainer. It's pretty much the same on every destroyer except for Khabarovsk again. And when you have those four basic captain skills for destroyers, you go with AR. This is the best skill, number 5 skill, so to speak. You shouldn't go with anything else. You should always pick up Adrenaline Rush, because you will lose a whole lot of HP in a destroyer, and when you do, your guns will get even more angrier and your torp will reload faster. So this is also a no-brainer. Since this is a gunboat which I knife fight other destroyers with, I pick fights with the tier 10 battleships and tier 10 cruisers. I run with Survivability Expert because I need that extra health pool. And the last skill is Inertia Fuse, High Explosive. And this is pretty much a remnant from the pre-patch, when you pretty much had to have IFHE on these 100mm guns to do any kind of damage. But since they buffed the guns in the last patch, I think you could probably choose another 1 or 2 captain skills instead of this. Maybe radiolocation, AFT, I don't know, I'm not so sure about that range to land your shells on target, but I will continue use this for a while, and also continue use this when I move the captain up to the tier 9 Kitakaze, because it seems to do really well with the same kind of captain build as the Akizuki. So that is basically my build on this ship. I hope you enjoyed this video. please leave a like and a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe to this amazing channel for more great gunplays. Until next time guys, have a good one. Bye bye.